Welcome to the Temple of Flame. And today, faithful acolytes, we take a look at this. And what this is from Melinda's, it is the hot honey infused with chile peppers. Set your mouth on flavor. Don't mind if I do. And blah, 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 blah. Okay, we don't care about any of that. What do we got? What do we got? What do we have? We have Colombian honey, apple cider vinegar, cayenne pepper mash. With interesting, so we have the peppers, salt, and acetic acid, and so delicious sodium benzoate as our preservative. But look at the color of this. This is wacky, and it seems fairly dense in the bottle. And we don't have a white point, so we're gonna fix that here momentarily. First, we need to take this off. I really hope this is more of a honey. It can go either way. But this was actually relatively inexpensive. This is at Walmart, actually. So even if it's something I have to use as a hot sauce to cook with, or to use like I would normally use a hot sauce rather than a hot honey, that probably won't be the end of the world. Or if it's bad and I have to just toss it, I guess that still wouldn't be ideal. We have 10 fluid ounces here, twice as much as a normal hot sauce. It smells more like a honey, I will say. So at some point, I promise, at some future point, I will be doing at least one of the Melinda's hot sauces. Melinda's and Marie Sharp are a couple different hot sauces that I just don't ever find anything edible in their lineups, because they have onions, and that is a strict no for yours truly. But that all aside, let's get on into throw it in the spoon. Ooh, it's like, you know what it looks kind of like? It looks like almost like a thick syrup, like a dessert syrup almost. So you can see here now whoa, that is very, very, very dark. This does not look like a honey to me. This looks like, I mean, it's darker than hot sauces tend to go. Unless Colombian honey is this dark naturally, I don't know the regional differences with honey, admittedly. So maybe this is just normal. I don't know how that would ever be the case, but maybe it is. I don't know. Certainly apple cider vinegar is not going to contribute color. And I don't see anything else that would, other than the cayenne pepper mash. So, well, it is, it almost reminds me of molasses, actually, kind of, when it was squeezed out like that and so on. Reminds me a little bit of that. So they could be missing ingredients from labels. I kind of doubt it with Melinda's. They're a pretty big name, and food labeling, when you get to be that size, gets to be a really big deal. But I don't know. I don't know. Let's just taste it and see. This is less like a honey than a perversion of honey, if I'm being honest. I don't think that you needed to have acetic acid and a separate vinegar in there. I don't see what the point of that was. Why wouldn't you want your honey to be sweet? I don't get it. It's only cayenne, so it wasn't ever going to be hot, despite them saying otherwise. So Boy, I don't even know what to say about this. I honestly am kind of at a loss. It is such a weird... It very clearly is not a hot sauce. And there's, I guess, a honey aspect to it. Like I said, it's just more of a... Honestly, it's more of a perversion of honey than anything else. But I suppose marketing your product as a perversion of honey probably wouldn't be the way to go. So, all right, so we got silverware. We've got a chicken tendie, and we've got, we're doing the muffins, because I was really unclear as to whether this was going to work, and I'm going to be really unhappy if it doesn't. But we'll give it a go for that, and then we're just going to throw it on. This almost looks like a raspberry color. It's the color's kind of throwing me. I mean, I can't say this tastes bad per se. It's just weird. More than anything, it's just I just find it bizarre. Let's flip that around. There we go. All right, let's. I mean, it's not bad here. I mean, it's not bad in general. It's just a very strange taste. It really doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would... You know, I really get frustrated actually when companies do this. And I don't mean to pick on Melinda's. They're certainly not the only one's guilty of this, but if you're marketing it as a honey, then make it a honey. Make it more of a honey than anything else. Make it distinguishable as a honey, right? Instead of this, whatever it is. This is so incredibly frustrating. I mean, you could probably grill with it. You could maybe mix it in with a barbecue sauce or something like that. I'm really curious to see what it does with peanut butter. And I have some right here, which we'll get to after I finish this tendie. No heat. No heat to speak of at all. I mean... So the Gindos, and that video is probably up by now. The Gindos hot honey was one wherein there was vinegar in it as well in the ingredients. But that was just a phenomenally delicious honey. Definitely one of the best I've had in the entire playlist where this lives, in which you can check out other hot honeys and hot syrups as well, if you're interested in any of that. I don't think that more... I think that was the big mistake here. I don't think that needed more vinegar. I don't understand why you would do that in the first place. Throwing vinegar in there is not going to sweeten it up, right? And honey is, other than Manuka honey is generally meant to be pretty sweet. And even the Manuka honey I've had has tended on the sweet side. Unless it's in a bizarre sauce with passion fruit, but we don't talk about that here. There's a video though if you want to see it. It's not how it goes. There's always a video. There's a video somewhere. In this case, it's mine. If you're interested. Well, this is the one application where it has to work. Because this is my breakfast most times. Sometimes I'll change it up with some eggs or maybe a croissant or just different things, but I really like the honey peanut butter English muffin combination. What's interesting is we're getting, okay, breathing a huge sigh of relief here. We're getting a cancellation effect with this peanut butter of some of the less ideal flavor notes here. So happily I will be able to use this for my breakfast. I was worried, just being straight up honest. I was pretty nervous that I was going to have to choke this down with a bunch of fried foods, and that's not the case. I can actually use it for the purpose which I intended when I bought it. So what's interesting about this is some of the honeys I have are just super, super sweet. And maybe Colombian honey is in its non-tampered with form. I don't know. But it has changed the complexity of this very simple breakfast. It's changed the dynamic. It's changed, I do have this a lot. And with any food that you have a lot, you can get tired of. Happens to everybody, right? In this case, this is enough of a change that surprisingly, I actually find it really interesting and kind of engaging. So, wow. You could never, in my view, never use this in something like a drink, like in a hot tea. Because that would just be steamy ass. Just sweaty, moist, sticky ass. But here, where there's other stuff to play off against, it actually dials down the inherent sweetness of the honey. Honey and peanut butter, especially you get this cheaper peanut butter like I get, has sugar in it. So sugar in conjunction with honey can get super, super sweet. No question. In that respect, this actually, at least with that peanut butter, works very nicely. So happily it will do. It will do. Now by itself, it's okay. I don't think it has enough inherent sweetness to work very well as a grilled sauce, but it could be as part of a grilled sauce. Generally, when you're picking honey, you're picking it as a sweetener, though. You're picking it as a sugar form. And if you dial that down to this extent, to me, it cuts down on the flexibility where you might use a hot honey. I think this would be really interesting, though, in something like honey cakes. So I might consider making honey cakes. And if I do, it will be somewhere in this series, I imagine. And you can check it out there, assuming I'm actually successful at it. I do have the ghost pepper version of this on deck as well, so at some point I'll be getting to that also. And you'll be able to check that out as well in the Hot Honeys and Syrups playlist, which is where this lives and where others live as well. Lots of things for you to look at of this type if you are so inclined. But so this is both not as bad as I feared, way better than I think I had any right to hope for. So, what the hell? We'll call it a win. Not great, I don't think, but just it's very unique. It's very interesting. I would say I would probably call it more interestingly good, to be honest, as well, which is a classification I do save for a few things here and there. And, we're just going to leave it right there. So that is the Melinda's Hot Honey. Now go forth in peace to serve the flame.